I have watched hundreds of hours of content to do with how to make money online, what's the best business, how to do this, how to do that. A lot of self help content over the past few years. And I can honestly say that the number one skill that anyone has ever recommended is sales. And that's because it's the oldest skill in the world when it comes to making money. And it's the oldest skill in the world when it comes to even just survival. Even before money was a thing, back when humans just used to trade goods for other goods or services. We used to trade whatever we had for what we wanted for somebody else had. Or if we needed our, I don't know, we wanted our field, our crop farmed, and someone else wanted their straw moved from one field to another, with exchange services, right? And that's before there were currencies. Now we have money, we have a monetary system and monetary policies around the world. We use that to transact. But sales and the ability to sell something to someone is the oldest skill in the world. And I think that's a reason as to why it's so important. And there's a reason for it being the oldest skill in the world. Now, really, when it comes to selling, and this is coming from someone that is not a salesperson, I have had to sell things to people, but what I've learnt about how I sold it to them is actually kind of a groundbreaking realization for me when I've looked back on it and how we're told about sales at the beginning. Now, like I said, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not some, as soon as people think, I'm not some Jordan Belfort looking person. I'm not some, like, I'm not going to go door to door selling. I'm not going to, try and, sell me this pen. I'm not a confident salesperson. I'm trying to grow my confidence as a person because I have to talk to clients on a weekly basis. I have to interact with different people. But that's kind of choosing to force myself into discomfort and uncomfortable situations to actually just generally grow as a person. But what I have learned about sales in doing cold calls, in just learning about sales online, and it helping me in my marketing as well, because sales and marketing are very closely related. I've learned kind of the truth about sales and how it actually does apply to our everyday life, and how sales really is an all encompassing field surrounding just psychology and human nature, and which is why it does closely relate to marketing. And it's almost marketing's brother in a way. Now, I'll get on to kind of the reality behind sales in just a second, but I think the biggest thing to do with sales is actually the misconception around sales and just selling as a whole. Because as soon as people think of selling, it's one of those kind of weird subjects where we think we have to kind of overcomplicate a situation on an entire process, and we have to kind of explain the features of a product or a service, or why this works and why that doesn't work. If you're trying to sell, I don't know, something around me. Let me get my phone. If we're trying to sell my phone to myself, right? It's are we going to go over the features? Are we going to go over, the quality of the camera? We're going to go over maybe the phone case, whatever it might be. Are we going to go over the light? We're going to go over the features of my lamp or whatever it might be, and we have to explain everything to do with how this thing works and the benefits it has. And granted, that is how a lot of people sell, and at some point in the sales process, we have to show people the features, or at least break them down and explain them, because that's what they're buying. They're either buying the product or service, and we have to explain the features of that product or service and the benefits of it. But the learning process for me was actually something that I realized I kind of did anyway when I first ever kind of sold someone on something. And the realization here is actually that when I was convincing someone to want to buy my product or service, I was just helping them make a decision. And that's all sales is, helping someone make a decision. And if anybody tells you any differently, that sales is convincing someone that they need this thing, then that is, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, unethical and immoral sales. Even if it is a very helpful product for that person. If someone is on their deathbed and they need a certain surgery, and this certain surgery, this certain medication costs a certain amount, if you are convincing that person that they need that, that's still unethical or immoral, even if they need it. However, if you can help someone come to the decision that they need the thing that you're selling them, then that's true sales, and that's the most ethical and moral way of selling. And this is obviously why, as soon as people think of sales, they may think of someone like Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, this guy that basically rug pulled all of the investors into, he would get on the phone, talk to all these investors, and call these people up and say, "Hey, I've got this amazing stock, and it's going to do amazingly well over the next couple of months. You should put your life savings, you should put your mortgage into it, you should put your savings into it." They put 50k of their life savings into it, or their pension into it, and he gets 100 people to put 50k into it. He takes that money, and then the stock pumps, and then all of his team then sell because he's told everyone to invest. That's like rug pulling. That's the immoral and unethical practice of how Jordan Belfort and his team at Stratton Oakmont and all of his other companies, that's how he got people to invest and how he made his millions. He pumped the stock prices of certain companies he invested in before he got other investors. He sold on investing in it, and then he sold when he pumped the stock price up artificially, technically. That's the immoral and unethical way of selling people. You're convincing them to make a decision. Whereas if people don't know about your product or service, but it will genuinely benefit them, then helping them make a decision and get to the yes is the most ethical and moral way of selling. And selling as a whole, the realization for me about sales was, I've got an annoying hair right there. The realization, like I said, for me, was that exact sentence, that exact point. You're helping someone make a decision. Now, what I wanted to get to after just these few minutes is the how. So, how do you help someone make a decision? Because we're not convincing, we're not even trying to persuade necessarily. Sales is simply helping someone make a decision. Even if, we're trying to sell a product or service cold to someone, which basically just means they don't know anything about us or a product or service, we are still explaining the benefits and the outcomes of that thing to them, and we're going to ask qualifying questions to begin with to see if they're even someone that would actually benefit from our product or service. Like most small businesses, for me, would benefit from the product and services I sell, especially services, because I know how many other people they've helped. And so I know how I can help them in their business. However, I will ask qualifying questions to make sure that, one, they're not at a loss right now, they've not got debts that they can't afford, they can actually afford the services, and even if they can't afford, if they can't afford a month, then they shouldn't go with us. If they can afford maybe 6 to 12 months or so, then we can consider the options. So I personally, or as a company, never want to sell something I don't think someone can afford or even invest in for the long term. I want to make sure it's the most healthy situation for them to be able to grow. And you don't want to be able to take, and this is kind of, going back to the Jordan Belfort situation at the very beginning, and especially in his transition from kind of making 50 or 100k a month to millions and millions and millions, was he was selling people on investments that they could barely afford. If someone had 10k in life savings so far, or 10k in a pension pot, he would tell them to invest that 10k into a stock. That stock would then pump because he gets 100 people to invest 10k, and he takes that money because he's just pumped a stock of a tiny company and takes all that money, and those investors lose out. And there's many people, unfortunately, in sales that are trying to do that. There's many gurus that obviously hire other salespeople to try and promote courses a lot of the time, and just online gurus a lot of the time that try to sell someone on something that they don't necessarily need, and they don't necessarily ask qualifying questions, or sometimes the qualifying questions to actually see if they are someone that would genuinely benefit from this product or service, They don't actually ask the right questions or go deep enough with the questions to ask if they really need it or not. Like they may really lean on someone's kind of just general unfulfilled feeling of like, oh, well, they want to make more money in life, but at the moment they're kind of semi-satisfied with their job. They're making 50K a year. And then the salesperson will convince them, how would it feel if you could make 200K a year, 500K a year, 1 million a year doing this and selling this course? And obviously, just want to make their commission as a salesperson, and they're trying to convince them and pressure them into the feeling of how it would make them feel. And that's an unethical and immoral way of selling something to someone, is if you're having to convince them that they need this thing. We should be helping someone make a decision, even if they don't know who we are yet, even if we're selling them cold, even if they've never heard of us before, or that we don't know who they are. We ask the qualifying questions to genuinely find out if they can actually benefit from what we're selling. So going on to the most important part, really, the realization of sales in that we're helping them make a decision, is actually a very profound way of realizing that the way we help someone make a decision to buy from us or buy from the company we're selling for is that we don't sell what we're selling. We don't sell the thing. Because in sales, we don't sell the thing, we sell the outcome that whatever we're selling gives that person or provides for that person. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, if you're selling a gym membership, you're not selling the sessions, you're not selling the equipment, you're selling the outcome of going to the gym for that person. And of course, many, many people go to the gym maybe for once, twice, a few sessions or whatever it might be, or maybe continuously. But people go to the gym because they want to be fitter, they want to be healthier, they want to have the body they want, they want to feel better about themselves, whatever. We're selling them that feeling, and then the gym, it's a lot of the time an amazing emotional and physical transformation. We're selling them that outcome. And it's the same with any product or service. Sales is selling someone the dream outcome. And it's why I so closely follow a guy called Alex Hormozi. If you don't know him, he's the co-founder of acquisition.com with his wife Layla Hormozi. He's authored the books $100 Million Offers and $100 Million Leads. They're amazing books. I've listened to the audiobooks of both of them. I've listened to and watched 1,000 different summaries of the $100 Million Offers and Leads, and I've got the $100 Million Offers book as a PDF as well, and it's fantastic. And the kind of dream $100 million offer, the dream offer, the irresistible offer that Alex Hormozi goes into explaining, is that it's all to do with the dream outcome. It's all to do with how we help someone make the decision based on selling them the dream outcome. And I can't remember the offer off the top of my head, but I do briefly want to actually show you. I might put it on screen now if I remember to, but I briefly want to show you the actual offer, and I want to do it off the top of my head so that I remember. But the reason I love Alex Hormozi's equation here so much is because I don't think anyone has ever dived into how you sell someone so simply. Because I think what most people do is, even if they think about, oh yeah, it's the dream outcome, they still try and overcomplicate it, and they still try and sell them the features and the dream outcome of the features. Whereas in reality, I might put this on screen. I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But this is ultimately how just the best way of selling is. So I don't know if you can see that. I'll probably put it on screen anyway. But I won't. Yeah, it's not even going to expose for it. But that's what the dream outcome is. It's like a Kahoot game or something. But the value equation that Alex Hormozi came up with is the dream outcome times the perceived likelihood of achievement divided by the time delay and effort and sacrifice required. So the way he created that is simply by thinking about what someone's dream outcome is, which is maybe, if we compare let's say If we compare a personal trainer that comes to our house every day and brings equipment with them or helps us buy equipment, and within the next 6 months is going to get us the dream body we want and the dream health we want, that may cost us £10,000, right? $10,000, whatever, versus a gym membership that is £50 or dollars a month. The reason they differ in price is because of the dream outcome, the perceived likelihood of achievement, and then the time delay and effort and sacrifice required. Because if you have someone coming to your home as a personal trainer with their own equipment or helping you buy your own equipment for the roughly the same price, you're getting to the dream outcome much sooner because it's at your home. You have someone that's an expert coming to your home, maybe every day, maybe a couple of times a week. Because of that, the time delay of you actually getting to your dream goal and the outcome you want is much quicker because you personally have someone that you're accountable for paying, and they're accountable to you and coming to your home as well with equipment. And the effort and sacrifice required is simply just the time of doing this and this cost. Which is why someone coming to your home as a personal trainer, being accountable for you, helping you buy the right equipment, and getting you to your goal in 6 months is worth maybe 10,000. Whereas a $50 or £50 a month gym membership, you can come and go as you please. Yes, there's people there to help you. Yes, you might have a personal trainer session once a week or once a month or something. But the dream outcome is there. It's up to you, and you're accountable to yourself to go into the gym all the time. The perceived likelihood of achievement is based on how many times you go to the gym and how often you're committing to making a decision to go there, whether you've made it a good habit or not. And then the time delay and effort and sacrifice required is simply, how long is it going to take you to get to that dream outcome of that dream body in 6 to 12 or 18 or 24 months, however long it's going to take you, whether you go to the gym 5 times a week or once a week. And then the effort and sacrifice required of the cost, basically the $50 or £50 a month of going to the gym, and the effort of going to the gym in itself, obviously minus the time we've just talked about. And so that's why a gym membership for $50 or £50 a month versus $10,000 to get you there in 6 months, because you'll have your personal accountability coach coming to your home with equipment, has much more, it's a higher likelihood of achievement there, which is probably the biggest point. I don't know if you can see that, the perceived likelihood of achievement is the biggest part of the difference between those two, because there's an accountability partner for you, someone coming to your home with equipment, and an expert coming to your home with equipment, and a timeline of how long it's going to take you based on all those other factors. And you can take this equation into anything. Whatever you're selling, your dream outcome times the perceived likelihood of achievement over the time delay and effort and sacrifice required. Apply this to anything. I can apply it to my own services. So my services from my new agency, Easy360, it's content creation. So whatever a client provides us in terms of content, photos, videos, GIFs, whatever it might be, whether it's a 2-hour podcast or a photo or a short TikTok ready-made video, whatever we might edit for them, we get content. We distribute that content on all the platforms, and then depending on what they're paying for as well, we're managing their social media profiles and trying to grow their social media profiles and trying to help convert potential people that come across and followers there, people engage with their accounts into potential customers. And then if they pay bonus, then we're also there working with them weekly to try and help them with their marketing goals and just generally long-term grow the business. And so for us, we are helping the business realize the dream outcome of growing the business, getting more customers or clients, making more money for the long term. How do we do that for them? With content creation, social media management and optimization, and generally just basically marketing, coaching and consulting, and general business consulting long term. And so depending on our prices, obviously we're trying to be affordable but also cost effective. So what I've believed in with our pricing, with Easy360's pricing anyway, is I want to be more affordable than hiring an entire marketing department, and actually at the beginning more affordable than hiring a full-timer. One full-time marketing apprentice, social media manager, one full-time guy right out of college or school, maybe $2,000 a month of salaries. I wanted to be more affordable than that. And our highest package is more affordable than a full-time social media manager that is less experienced than our entire team, like just one guy. So that's why I wanted to have an entire professional, expert level marketing department that is more cost effective for a business than one basically apprentice social media manager, social media assistant for that level of experience. And so that's kind of the making it irresistible offer for the for the clients. But the perceived likelihood of achievement is based on how well they think we can do and deliver on the results of helping them with grow based on making content for them and helping them make their content as viral as possible, getting more attention through their social media and helping them grow their social media. And then depending on what package they want to choose as well, we're working with them and providing the necessary support that they need to actually grow long term with the marketing and giving them the tips and tricks we already know based on working with other clients that may be bigger, smaller, in competing industries or whatever, to help them grow as well, and then helping them get to that goal quicker of more customers or clients and more sales, growing the business. So then the time delay and the effort and sacrifice required, well, for us, we're trying to basically make it so that it takes them less time to get the results they actually want. Obviously, taking the time away from social media and content creation, all they have to do now is record some videos, and even in the end, I want to take that away from them. So then they are left with working on their business, and we become their marketing department. We take away all the burdens of that for them, and then they're literally just left with working on the business themselves and just doing what they want to be doing. And the effort and sacrifice required, which is just basically the cost of the service and filming some of the content. And then we want to do everything else. And that's obviously what our offer is. So the way we make our offer irresistible is by putting all those factors together so that it is an irresistible offer for a potential business, so that they can see that we want to help them grow and get more sales long term. So this applies to anything. This applies to whatever product or service you're trying to sell. You got to think about the dream outcome, the perceived likelihood of achievement, and then the time delay and the effort and sacrifice required to help that person get to where they want to be, to that dream outcome, and how likely they are to get to it. And typically, the likelihood and the time delay and the effort and sacrifice required dictate the price, right? So I think the best example here is, I think it's I can't remember the exact thing. I think it was Alex Hormozy said something like, if someone wants to lose weight, someone wants to get to a target weight, right? The reason the surgery to basically cut all your fat off and give you, I can't remember the technical term for it, but basically lose fat through surgery and then like put you back together, like sew you back together, that costs thousands. Whereas a personal trainer may cost you a couple of thousand or a few thousand over years. Maybe just like a couple hundred a month or whatever, or 50 or 100 or 200 a month. So the effort and sacrifice required, and so the perceived, if you want to lose weight and get to a target weight, the surgery costs thousands because it's going to get you there in 2 weeks. After the surgery, you're there, without the effort and sacrifice of working out and getting to the right diet. Whereas if you change your diet and you go to the gym and you have a personal trainer, they're all variables that cost maybe much less, but the time delay and the effort and sacrifice required is much more. So when you look at these variables within the kind of value equation that Alex Hormozy made, you can really take into account how you affect price based on the time delay, the effort and sacrifice required, and the perceived likelihood of achievement. And this is really just the best way of realizing how almost simple sales is. Not to say it's easy, because an sales process is all about helping someone make that decision, and it requires a lot of figuring out if they're a qualified prospect, seeing the likelihood of them wanting to achieve the certain results based on what you can offer them, and then going through the objections, because everybody's going to have objections, and it's just working out where the actual root problem is, because a lot of the time there's the good reason and then there's the real reason. Someone will give you an objection, but then it's figuring out if that objection is real or not. What's the root cause of the problem here? Typically it's I don't have enough money, time. There's a few variables to do with objections. I don't know them off the top of my head, but normally it's like, I don't have enough money, or it's too risky, or it's a few different variables that go into, I'm not ready to buy now. I need more information. I need more time. I need more money. And there's a few there, there's three. And normally you have to go through these objections and ask the right questions with the right tonality. And I've done a video on communication before. I'll link that below, hopefully, on how types of questions, mirroring, labeling, using the right tone, and using the right like non-verbal and verbal cues and body language helps you through the objection process to actually help them make the right decision if they are a qualified prospect. You've asked the right qualifying questions, they seem like they're ready to be a customer or a client, and then you go through the process of just getting to the real reason of why they don't think they're ready yet. And overall, that is sales. So again, I'm no salesperson. I've had to do some cold calls before, and it's not fun, but it's helped me realize these and actually learn a lot more about communication skills, and obviously working closely, learning a lot from a close friend of mine who's a communications coach, and really understanding how the importance of learning all these things helps you with sales as a whole and makes you, understand how sales works. And like I said at the very beginning of this video, sales is very closely linked to marketing, because sales is more so helping someone make a decision, right? Whether it's one person or 10 people in the room or 100 people or 1,000 people in the room. Marketing is telling people about the decision, right? In a way, it's sales is I, sales is helping someone, and marketing is telling someone about this, just promoting this solution in a way. I think that's the best way of putting it, actually, because yeah, marketing is the promotion of the solution or promotion of the feeling, promotion of the dream outcome, and then sales is the helping someone about the promotion of the dream outcome. And I think that's the best way of putting it. I've read before that, marketing is to the masses, sales is direct one-to-one, which is obviously a big part. But I do think that marketing is more so promoting the solution to whoever, obviously to a target market, if you can, qualified as possible, as qualified as you possibly can get, which is obviously why paid ads are a thing, trying to target specific people that you genuinely think are qualified. Because this is the trouble with a lot of things, is you'll see, obviously, because Alexas and things and phones and constantly listening, we actually have the ability for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and everything to listen to what we're saying, so that if we're talking about something in a conversation with friends or family, we'll start seeing that advert on different places, and we search for things and things start coming up. So targeted ads are a thing, and then you get the kind of slightly unethical area where you start having certain goods or services, like maybe supplements that maybe you don't need but are being sold to you anyway based on what you've been searching for in the past to be promoted to you. So there's always grey areas with this, but you've really got to think about, with sales, it's helping someone make a decision. That's the biggest thing with sales, helping someone make a decision. And there's nothing else to it. It's helping someone make a decision through all those different practices and using communication skills like I've done in the video before. Yeah, I'm no expert on all this stuff, I'm learning myself, but I wanted to kind of share what I've been learning and share my understanding and my realizations I've come to. So I hope this helps, and if you do want help with learning more about sales, then you want help with your communication skills, my friend Keanu is a communications coach, and I will leave his link to book a free kind of consultation one-on-one with him at the beginning. I'll, to begin kind of the process of going through it. I'll walk you through the process. I'll walk you through how his program works. And yeah, I'll leave that linked below. But otherwise, thanks for listening to me ramble for half an hour or so. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.